I think each and every year, when we come to this time of the year, as New Yorkers at least, maybe not for all of you out there, wherever you might be, maybe in Mexico City or in Bogota, but we New Yorkers, each and every time the winter appears, at this particular time of the year, it becomes all about that word, chalonot, windows. The song that I just sang from Song of Songs, a song about lovers, has one lover saying to the other, behold, he says, she says, they say, I'm mashkiach min chalonot, that I'm hanging out of the windows. I'm looking in. I'm visible from. I want you to see me. I want to see you. And so on a very banal level, we walk around in New York City and we look at windows. We go window shopping. Famous windows, windows that are made to entice. They're made to tell a story. They're made to want us to walk inside. I think every year, not only about the windows in New York City because of the beauty and the artistry, but I think about windows because at this time of the year, at Hanukkah time especially, the Torah, the rabbis teach us that there are two places that we are to place our menorah, our candelabra, and one of them is in a window. As if there's a parallel phenomenon. I've spoken about this in the shul before, of this kind of window shopping and the purpose of the menorah in the window. But I also think about it because of the Midrash, the wonderful Jewish folktale that I've also taught on in years before, on another window, a window that saved a life. The Midrashic folktale appears in the Talmud in Masechet Sotah, and it tells about a moment in Joseph, the Joseph narrative, the Joseph story, Joseph in exile, Joseph who has been thrown into a pit by his brothers, Joseph who's lost, who's been stripped naked of all vestige of royalty, any vestige of superiority, any vestige of the familiar. There is no family for Joseph. He's in a pit, and he's pulled from the pit, and then he finds his way into the house of someone named Potiphar. And in Potiphar's house, he is seduced by Eshet Potiphar, the wife of Potiphar. And the Torah tells us that at the height of the seduction, when there was no one in the house and the wife of Potiphar had Joseph right where she wanted him, Joseph, who each and every day was refusing and resisting and protesting, he finds himself alone with his mistress, Vayima'en, and Joseph resists. And she grabs him by his garment and he runs outside. The Talmud says that at the moment of Joseph's greatest temptation, the Talmud says that Joseph looked into the window and saw in the window, Diyukno shel aviv b'chalon, Amar lo Yosef, the visage of his father appeared to him in the window. And his father spoke to him and said, Atidin achecha sheyichtevu alav nei ephod. In the future, Joseph, your brothers will be written onto the breastplate of the high priest. Each stone, there'll be 12 stones. Each stone will have the name of one of the tribes, one of your brothers, Joseph. V'ata beinehem, and you will be amongst them. Ritzoncha shimcha mi beinehem. Do you want in the future for your name to be erased from these stones? This strange midrash, this powerful midrash, it leads me every year into a kind of contemplation of what these windows are. These windows at this time when we place a menorah there, these windows that we see ancestors in, who give us messages that lead us in moments of challenge and radical moral and ethical difficulty to make a choice, to make the right choice. I think at this moment, as we put this menorah into our windows, about the power of a window, what it represents, what its symbol is. We place the menorah in the window to broadcast to the world something. This Pirsume Nisa, this publication of a miracle, this broadcasting, this billboarding, is built into the foundation of Hanukkah. The purpose of a window is to give those who are inside of it a way to touch what is outside without actually being outside. It protects us while giving us some distance, but also it brings things in, intimacy, into me you see. Others can see in, even as we can see out. A window is a bridge. A window helps to span a chasm and turn isolation into we. A window is a place that if the right conditions are present, we not only see others through the window, but we also see ourselves as if in a mirror. A window is an advertisement to those who come by and says to them, this thing in the window is what I want you to see. And so here we are in all of our windows, 150, 60, 70. How many windows are here on this window? Windows into your world, windows into what can often be an isolated place, windows into a recognition that even as we see the light at the end of the tunnel of this global pandemic, we reach depths and despair yesterday alone that we had not seen since the beginning of the crisis. There's an opening and a closing, an opening and a closing, and we are back and forth, back and forth. And Hanukkah comes along tonight. And Hanukkah, with its emphasis on not only lighting a candle, but lighting it in a place that will become the bridge between us and the world outside, is a reminder that we are to broadcast that even though we may imagine there's an inside here and an outside over there, we make visible the indivisible bonds that we humans share. We make visible the indivisible bond that is me and you, the we. We make visible the indivisible truth of our common human vulnerability and our common human triumphs. Joseph was at a moment of radical uncertainty, a moment of radical difficulty. He had nowhere to turn, but he saw his father. The Midrash tells us that not only did Joseph see his father, but something interesting about Joseph and his dad is that they looked alike. So I kind of always think to myself, when the Midrash tells us that Joseph looked into the window and saw his father, I wonder maybe the Midrash is playing off of that dual function of the window. It both gives us a peek into. It helps us to draw forth out of our isolation something, someone, someplace that might give us strength in that moment of strength that we might not imagine that we have, but it also plays off of the strength that we might have. Because as Joseph looks into the mirror, maybe he also sees the Jacob within him. He looks and finds his own inner strength, his own capacities, maybe capacities that he didn't know. The resilience and the endurance and the perseverance that he didn't know he had. Maybe that chalon, maybe that window served as both mirror and also connection. I wonder where all of you are tonight. I wonder whom you're seeing as you look into your windows. Who's giving you strength? Who's giving you oz? Who's empowering you in difficult moments? And how do you find your way back to your own truth, your own self, your own power? And with all of that, how might we fulfill the dictum of the rabbis who said that any house of prayer without windows is not a house of prayer? That on this Shabbat, the Shabbat of human rights, that we are so profoundly aware of the need to build a world with greater transparency and greater accessibility, and greater connection. We make visible the indivisible. We make visible the indivisible. You do. And I was thinking, when I was sitting and meditating before the services tonight, I was thinking to myself about the power of that one candle. Because we know that there was an entire school of thought that said, don't light one candle every night, take one candle away every night. But that's not the way that we light our Hanukkah candles. We light one on the first night, and then tonight we added another one. Each and every person is a world. Each and every person is a world. We recognize that that custom that has been codified and practiced for over 2 millennia to light one candle, to save one life, to make one small gesture can build. Each one teach one, each one reach one, each one in this window. Lahadlik ner shel Chanukah. Our sages teach that those words, to ignite the candle of Hanukkah, the first letter of each of those words spells the word chalon. Lahadlik ner Hanukkah, chalon, a window. And like the great Rumi poem that I read earlier in the evening, your body is away from me, but there's a window open from my heart to yours. From this window, like the moon, I keep sending news secretly. I bless you, friends, tonight as you turn towards Shabbat dinner and wherever you are to describe the window and the window dressings and the advertisement that you would place there, the billboard, how you would find strength in it and give strength from it, how you would make visible the indivisible. Mashkiach min hachalonot, mitzitz min hacharakim. May God bless us with the strength to broadcast what needs to be broadcast to the world and to ourselves, and might give us Oz.